What's happening, Vault Hunters and Fantasy fans? We are back in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands again. We are back in the Dreamvale Overlook. We are about to hit some DLC content again today, starting on the Tier 2 version of the activities and jumping straight into the Coiled Captors to see what kind of difficulty changes we have in our second playthrough. We're going to jump straight on in. And we need to make sure we are on Tier 2, Twilight Treachery. Okay, here we go. Wish me luck. So I've been playing a bit more of Wonderlands at the moment. I've been really enjoying getting back into it while I'm doing all this revisiting of Borderlands games. And as many of you will know, I had about a year gap from about the time the DLC launched, because I wasn't happy with I felt let down by the size of the base game, and then finding out the DLC was not going to be sizable chunks like you would normally have in a Borderlands game. Normally in a Borderlands game you get 4 separately themed big DLCs at a minimum that do tend to be about a quarter of the size of the main game each, which means by the time all the main DLCs have come out, you've effectively doubled the size of the game. And when I found out that wasn't going to be the case, I was let down by that and had a bit of a tantrum and just didn't play the game for quite a while. And so...
Begone, coward.
Okay, well, I'm not entirely sure what has happened there, but whoa, that seemed powerful. Which leads me into what I was starting to say was, so I had a big gap in the game, and I've missed out on some things. But I've had a lot of loot in my vault from all the time I did initially spend in the game. But what I'm finding out now I'm back in the game is that I am very out of touch with what bits of gear I should be using, what kind of build I should have on my character, and I found out the hard way because I've been doing the Chaos Chambers, and I've now failed the Chaos Chamber the 2 times that I've gone to record it. I've not managed to get the clear. I have been going for the extra bosses, which does make it more difficult, but at the point I was originally playing the game after launch, I'd got to the point where, which is another reason why I stopped, is the fact that like all the gear I had was pretty much one-shotting anything the game could throw at me on the hardest content available. And so everything felt a bit meaningless. Didn't feel like there was any reason to be sticking around or doing much. But it seems that now I've come back in, I'm running older gear, older setups, and it's not doing the job. So I'm actually getting punished a bit for that. So I've done a bit of a rework on my character skills to play around with those. We are going a bit glass cannon. That tends to be the style that I preference. So my objective is to try and up my output, but that does mean I'm going to take a bit of a hit on my survivability. Is that another token? No. So we are switched onto a bunch of guns that I haven't really used since being back in the game. Most of these have just come straight out of my vault. However, ones like this, there are a few that I have specifically picked up in the last few days while I've been playing, tracking down some new bits of kit to give a go and see what we get. Just try and get a bit more familiar with things. Games like this, they do a fair bit of tinkering around and rebalancing of weapons and gear quite regularly, and that is the case. Things have changed a lot since I was playing a year ago, so I need to re-engage with what stuff is working for what kind of content, what kind of scenarios, and that's going to help me out when I go back to the Chaos Chamber and go looking for those super spicy secret bosses. So in this run I'm going to be just jumping around my guns a bit and just sort of experimenting. I may, as we go forward, maybe do a run with just pistols or just shotguns, something like that, so I can really try it out on the fly. I don't tend to spend a lot of time looking over numbers. I do majoritively play on the feel of things. I mean, if I can get a good synergy with my weapons or my setup and the guns that I have in my hand, then it does tend to, if it's not meaningful enough that I can't just see it, then I don't feel like it's a big change. Unless I get desperate, and then I'll start going over recordings and looking at numbers and trying to do some calculations. But for now, we're just going to switch around guns, play around with them, and see if we can just up our performance a little bit. Well, that's right. I should probably remember that by now. So this is the Ruby, this gun I'm using it at the moment. It is a dark magic version. I'm not sure if all of them are dark magic on this one, but yeah, this is a pretty decent gun from my recollection, but not one I've used very much recently. Seems to be doing the job. It's quite fun, but probably not like my favourite preference for the feel of a weapon. But if we get the numbers, then we get the numbers. Probably need something a little bit more nuanced for that. This one's pretty cool. This is a new one I've picked up. This is called the Donkey, and this is a caustic version, and it is very similar to the Shredder Fire or the Ogre from previous Borderlands games, where it is just, it's an assault rifle that just keeps going. This one is firing actually little saw blades. So these guys are coming out and tearing through everything. But yeah, I'm going to give this one a proper try and see how it does against this end game content. I will be doing some videos on weapons at some point soon, once I've got through a few of these and got a better handle on where things are at this point. I will make a few videos just talking about recommendations, and as well with build thoughts, just to see if there's anything I can provide that will be helpful to you guys. You certainly don't need to do that. I think you can get away with playing the game with any weapons that you want. It may mean that you're going to have to play a little bit differently, because some harder content will punish you for not being able to output in a certain way. So it does depend what sort of experience you're looking for. But just to, make it clear that you don't have to be really funny about all your weapons if you don't want to. But if you like that sort of thing, there's tons to experience, tons to toy with. And try and get a setup that feels fun for you, and also performs well, taking out all the enemies in style. I used to sort of actually look at this as some kind of puzzle, but now I just kind of shoot these things all over the place and they seem to work themselves out. So
inspiringly done.
Inspiring. I mean, at least it's removing some of the load from my internal calculations, because man, I am dizzy most of the time. Ooh. Pummeling championship ring of the auspicious hymn. Fine, I'll take that. That just reminded me, I had a necklace I just got that I wanted to switch out. So let's do that. Just so you know where my stuff is, that just gives you a moment just to look at my setup there. And those are my currently assigned skills. It's not a perfect build by any means. I was sort of, like I say, leaning it all with the intention of trying to up my output and just see what kind of feel it had when I wasn't worrying about anything defensive or, you know, doing anything too clever. Just literally trying to muscle my way through things. Got to keep picking up these little skull tokens, the little pink tokens that have been dropping as I'm destroying the enemies. Those are what we need in order to pick up our loot at the end of this run. And that's also going to help us with our upgrading and preparation. I don't really want to go into the Chaos Chamber for a little while. I want to try and get my character feeling like I think it should. And that means getting loot, toying around for a bit in content such as this, and carrying on with the story mode. And then when... I know, well, that's not really going to change anything because that's a different character, but either way, I'm going to try and get things in a better position, and then the next time we face the Chaos Chamber, I'm actually going to try and have my head in the game. Rather than trying to just muddle through. I think we're going in the right direction. This donkey definitely seems worthwhile. I'm pretty happy with this so far. Just to give some example, some contrast. This is a 5'11" bread slicer. This room with the bread slicer, and then we'll switch to another AR in the next room. I think that the bread slicer having that higher gear score at the moment is still outperforming that donkey, but the donkey is it's a less immediate damage gun because you have such a long clip. That the idea is that you will, keep the sustained fire. That's going to mean you'll be able to deal with multiple enemies without the risk of having to change gun or reload. Another bit of kit as well. We are doing pretty good for gear so far. Have a look at that properly later on. Too busy talking and not paying attention again, and have forgotten if I've done both of my chests in this room. Our extra objective as we run through this these different arenas is that we have to find 2 chests and open them, and that will, there we go, I didn't think I'd done 2. I must have run straight past that earlier. But so that's just giving me just a little bit of a bonus. I think I get an extra thing to smash at the end. Just by the exit. I don't know if that applies because I've got it after or whatever, but either way. And another legendary. We are getting all the stuff. Spore Warden and Clawbringer Power. So that is pretty decent. The one I have on is very good, so that's not worth switching in my opinion, but I will take it. And let's switch our assault rifle over. The slicer is definitely doing some good work. I think the only other one I've got on me is probably the imp for the assault rifles, although I do have... Let's try my Torg one. And with these, you have two firing modes, which is impact and sticky. And I typically use sticky with these. It's less of a multi-purpose tool. Sorry, yeah, less of a multi-purpose tool. These ones, I tend to feel like these are more for boss damage. The Torg weapons don't tend to have long clips. So they can be difficult to deal with multiple targets, although this one's clip's pretty decent. My Luddite pistols are a bit different. We'll look at those in a bit. But this is also performing very reasonably so far in this room. And it's doing some great just burst damage. So, with the sticky mode on, which I feel like this used to always tick back when you cleared the clip, was extremely frustrating, but it's now staying on sticky, which makes this vastly more usable. But anyway, so you get the stick on, and then the explosion happens just after. Got some fun acid on my current equipped spell, and I have got it set up so that my my ult, when I pull my ult, when the hammer is out for 10 seconds following that, I get quite a decent damage increase, so that's kind of a bit of a trump card that I hold. Don't necessarily spam that, but it means I can just pop that if I want to drop something a little bit quicker. I've only done one chest in here so far. Oh yeah, there's a little back bit up here. I think this sometimes has a chest. There we go. Get those. So that's everything cleared out. Just make sure that there's no skulls to pick up. Do another change on the assault rifle there. Not the blue cake. So yeah. That's interesting.
We need to stop this water from rising. Find the release valves, or maybe if you've got a big straw and ate way too many salted nuts. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on there. That was a bit weird. I think there must have been an enemy that was just floating in the background that popped out just as we were sort of waiting to do that. But that timing seemed a bit off there, a bit funny. That's cleared our path. So I think I'll have to test the ARs on some boss damage at some point to see how that's dealing, but just for clearing out just smaller adds at the moment. I think the donkey and the slicer are close Slicer seems to be very, very quick at dispensing enemies, and you have that sort of slight fire and forget aspect to it. But the Donkey just has that longer clip, which is very, very nice. Although a lot of these are exploding as soon as I shoot them with the imp as well, so there's other things at play here. The lightning bolt is to do with things I have set up on my class. So that's giving me a big bonus when that lightning bolt is hitting. And I've got Vern, and I've got Fun Guy also throwing things into the mix, so it can be hard to keep track of. Do like the theme of these areas. It's very cool. I like the lighting in this this room in particular is very pleasant. Even though you're running around fighting all these nasties, nice and chill. It all feels sort of very low key, but all the sort of little highlights on stuff sort of almost feels like sort of neon back streets, you know. I mean, I'm putting no thought into shooting these at all. Like, I feel like they shouldn't be just completing themselves. They should have to have some sort of mental input. But I'm going to shoot everywhere and see if it still completes itself. No, that's not completed itself, so. In my face. Okay, maybe I will actually have to pay attention. Which is good. I don't want it just to be on rails. That's boring experience when the game just does everything for you. Did I get both my chests in this room? Do wish that would stay on the screen so that I know that's definitely ticked off. I mean, counting to 2 is very difficult when you're doing other things.
You'll feel shockwaves for days.
That too. There we go. There we go there. It's interesting as the body died there, it bopped me. Well, all those ARs all seem pretty reasonable. I think I'm going to go with the slicer on the boss and just see how quick we can tear through him. Because that one felt nice. Didn't seem to have any ammo issues there as well. I did half wonder if I was just going to toy with one weapon archetype, whether I would end up with a situation where I just, you know, ran out of ammo and was just left standing there swinging my sword around like a feather duster. But I think that that's worked fairly well, even though I started it quite late. So what I'll probably do next time is maybe say we'll just do pistols from start. I'll take a variant of every pistol I have and just see how we get on. See how those pistols are performing, but I definitely feel happy with most of these assault rifles, so it's doing some pretty good damage. Let's do a quick switch. That's doing very reasonable damage, but it's donkey with the sustained fire. You're a bit more at risk because you're just using it all. Oh, wow. Okay, I think that was definitely quicker than the bread slicer. Whether I was hitting all those bread slicer shots is a question as well, but that was easy. That was real easy.
Friend or foe, good or God. It's what we do with that freedom that matters. You're free now to return to me and be rewarded, or go about your adventures in this world, for ones beyond even my wildest imagining.
So I definitely didn't feel like there was any real difference there between Tier 1 and Tier 2. You know, we tore through the boss. I feel like that should really have been like a big chunk different. I feel like it should have been twice as much damage to kill the boss to make it feel like it was worthwhile, but perhaps that will have a steeper ramp after this. Perhaps we'll get our butts handed to us next time round on that one, but for now we're still making good progress, and we've got some more souls here, so we're going to do some spinning, see if we can up our arsenal a bit more. And I do need to keep an eye out on some of these, although these are all melees. There are a few other weapons I'm looking for. Got a new spell there. Toxifying saw blades. Let's equip that. Alright, okay, yeah, we've had that one before. But still, good fun. Like, just the amount of different kind of guns and effects and things in this game are just excellent. It's a beautiful. Mwah. Okay, a bit of money. And some rings. Got any more? What have I got? Oh, one soul off of another spin, but that's fine. What we got there? Boink Divergent. Okay. So this one is one that I've commented on a few times that I wanted. Because I think it's a cool gun. It's not necessarily the most powerful, not necessarily the most decent bit of kit. But it's a good laugh. It does some good standard damage. And then, yeah, when you do the reload, you get to throw out that D12. Which is just a pretty cool little thing to do. So we'll give that a bit of a try. Might be shotguns. Maybe that's the determinant. Maybe next time I should use, you know, the weapon type that I end up with. So maybe pistols or maybe shotguns in the next one. Might end up with some limitations there if you've got anything at range with the shotguns, but that definitely is worth a try, and it's going to be great ticking off more of these guns and just figuring out what I like the feel of, what seems to be performing, and then that's going to help me pushing forward as I get ready to face the Chaos Chamber next time. But thank you very much for joining me as we looked at Tier 2 of the Coiled Captors. I will be carrying on this as soon as I can. I'm going to work through all of these. Obviously still in process doing playthroughs of Borderlands 1, 2, 3 and Wonderlands playthrough and Tales from Borderlands, and I will be starting a pre-sequel playthrough sometime soon. I've got all sorts of other videos where I'm planning to talk about guns, gear, Borderlands 4, Wonderlands 2. Both of those are confirmed to a degree now. So yeah, please stick around. Check out more of my videos. If you do want to see anything else like this, please like, subscribe. It really, really helps me out. I do want to do what I can to build this channel and try and create content that people are going to be interested in watching and going to be helpful to them in their journey as they look to play these games. And that is ultimately what I want to do with this, because these are games I'm very passionate about and I want other people to experience these as well, and that means helping to promote these games, get them out there, get people hyped. But yeah, enough of that. Thank you very much for watching. Really, really do appreciate it. I hope you have a great evening. All the best. Take it easy, Vault Hunters. Peace.